Alright, welcome back guys. Now we're going to learn how to make a drum loop out of a sampled pre-configured drum loop. So, we want to start out by choosing our BPM, and for the sake of this project, we're just going to use 97. Alright, so I located my high quality sound sample, and I'll just give you guys a little preview. And this sound file actually has 3 drum loops present within it. However, we only want to use the first drum loop. So, click the uppermost and at the same time rightmost warp marker and drag it until it gets to the end of the first drum loop. And now, I'll play it back for you guys. Great. Okay, so after we have that, we can right click and slice to new MIDI track. You guys just built the tutorial slicing preset, however, I'm just going to use mine, which is essentially the same thing, so you really don't need to pay attention to the names. And we're going to slice it in quarter notes. So after that, just click OK and it creates a new MIDI track for us. So basically, this is the audio sliced into 19 different slices. So it's going to play back the same exact thing as in this audio track. So I'll solo it so you guys can hear. And as you can hear, it's very choppy because they are sliced into 19 different pieces. However, that doesn't matter because now we're going to customize our drum kit out of this. So generally for this first slice, I like to create a kick. So it's going to be very easy for this drum loop because we actually start out with the kick. So I'm going to play the sample just on my keyboard and try to really isolate the sound within this window right here. So basically, click on this window, it brings up some sort of circle. I don't know if you can exactly see that. And then you just click and drag down and it will expand the view for you. So, sorry, let me, okay. Oh yeah, and I also just had a minor difficulty. So if it's not triggering the sample, so basically if it's playing up here and you can see my yellow square, and it's not where my samples are housed, just press X, Z, and it'll take you down until you get to that C1. And if you press X, it'll take you up. So basically, it's the octave key just on my Mac keyboard. So if you have a MIDI, then odds are you won't have to worry about that. But that's just something that can be a serious headache if you're not too familiar with the software. So yeah, just a little heads up. All right, so let's get back to it. Alright, so that's a great kick sound, but it's got a close head in it as well. So basically what I'm doing is just dragging the markers to isolate that sound. Great. Okay, so next we want to find the snare drum. And I like to have my snare drum, well, I set my drum kit up a certain way. So I like to go kick, snare, closed hat, open hat with the rest empty, and then I'll fill in with samples as I need them or see them fit. Okay, so let's try to go through these and find a snare or any other instrument that we need for our kit. Alright, so there's definitely a snare present here. So same process. Click, drag to zoom in and just sliding the markers. Great. Okay, and now we've located a snare drum. So, drag this here where I just generally prefer it. And let's keep going. That's a great closed hat sound. However, it does have a slight kick to it, so we can fix that just by sliding that up, and we can also filter the sound. So we'll go to a high pass 12. Take this down some. and now we've hit the sweet spot. So let's see, closed hat. Or excuse me, this is definitely a open hat sound. Confusing the two. Okay, this is an open hat. Alright, great. So we'll drag that up to where I just generally prefer it, and now we'll find a closed hat. Okay, there's a closed hat in here. Small little triangle. Great. Okay, so right click and rename that. Oop. Close hat. This isn't going far, just there. And now we can just left click and press delete, and now we can get rid of those excess slices that we don't need. And then we'll have a simple drum kit. Okay, so now let's actually create the drum loop, and basically we're going to record that in layers using a technique called overdubbing. So we're going to record the kicks first, then the snares, then the hi-hats, and I won't do every little thing because that's just going to make the video very long, but I'll just show you the general process. So now we have our basic clip. We don't need it anymore. We can slide it down, you can delete it, whatever. But now I'm right clicking and deactivating, so it won't play. Alright, so let's see, I have my, okay. Now the track is armed, and to record you just click this. Okay. Got my keys and I'm ready. Come down here, and it's only going to be a 4-bar loop. So click that, slide it down, and we're good to go. Great. Okay, we'll just go into the snare. Alright, so forgive the slight offness of the notes. My computer did have a glitch as I was trying to play the snare, so it threw me off just a little bit. So you can click and just drag the notes ever so slightly and line them up. And to highlight each note, you can just click the piano key. Or to make it even more customizable, which definitely comes in handy, I guess once you get more advanced, right click, go to fixed grid, click off. And now you can zoom in and drag as you please. And as you guys saw there, I dragged up somewhat rather than right, and it changes to the actual note that's present on that portion of the drum rack. So if you want, you can say, for instance, you meant to record a closed hat and you hit a snare. Wherever that's placed, you just simply drag it up, and now it's going to play that note. Alright, so that's basically how to create a drum loop, and you just keep going through like that until you actually have a sound that you like. Okay, so moving on to the next tutorial. See you guys shortly. Bye-bye.